All right, ready to dive deep into love.
Always.
Today we're looking at what happens after the honeymoon phase.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to use Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages
Classic.
to see how those first sparks
Yeah.
can turn into lasting love.
Exactly.
So if you've ever wondered why that in-love feeling fades or how couples keep things going strong after years together,
Yeah.
stick around.
This will be good.
I'm curious, though.
Yeah.
Chapman doesn't see the honeymoon phase as actual love, does he?
He doesn't.
Really?
He calls it the in-love experience.
Oh, interesting.
And basically, it's nature's way of getting us to couple up.
So all those butterflies and sleepless nights, that's just biology tricking us.
It is. Think of it like a powerful magnet.
Okay.
Pulling you towards someone.
Yeah.
It's fuel for bonding, for commitment.
Right.
From an evolutionary view, it's about survival and passing on genes.
I see. The bigger picture.
Yeah.
But if in love is temporary, what happens when it goes away?
That's when real love begins.
Oh, so love isn't doomed.
Not at all.
Interesting.
Chapman says there's a huge difference between falling in love, which is kind of accidental,
Right.
and the decision to love someone.
So we go from this crazy romance
Exactly.
to a more grown-up love.
Yes. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because to make love grow, we have to speak each other's love language.
Ah, yes. The famous 5 love languages.
You know them.
Just a reminder for everyone, they are words of affirmation,
Yes.
quality time,
Right.
receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch.
Those are the 5.
Each one is a way we show and experience love, right?
Right. Like having a first language that makes us feel loved.
I see.
It's your love language.
And this is where some couples struggle.
Yeah, for sure.
They'll shower their partner with love,
Yeah.
but in a language their partner doesn't get.
It's like trying to talk deeply with someone when you both speak different languages.
I get it.
Good intentions, but the message doesn't go through.
Wow, okay.
And Chapman's work can really change things here.
Okay, tell me more about these love languages
Okay.
and how they work in real life.
Let's start with a story from Chapman's book.
Right.
It's about Janice.
Okay.
Her husband showered her with gifts. He thought that's how she liked it.
Oh.
But Janice didn't feel truly loved, and their relationship was suffering.
So what was missing?
Well,
Was her love language not receiving gifts?
exactly. Turns out it was acts of service.
Interesting.
She felt loved when her husband helped around the house
Okay.
or made her life easier.
Oh, I see.
And once they understood this,
Yeah.
things changed dramatically.
So it's like
Yeah.
he was speaking Spanish, but she needed Italian.
Perfect analogy.
Wow.
This shows why it's important to not just know your love language,
Okay.
but also to really get your partners.
Makes you think of another couple.
Yeah.
The one who fought about dishes all the time.
Oh, right.
Seemed like a simple chore war, but it was a love language issue, wasn't it?
Absolutely. The husband felt loved through acts of service.
Yeah, so doing dishes was showing love for him.
Exactly.
But his wife, she wanted quality time.
Yes. Feeling loved was his attention, not a clean sink.
It's amazing how these small things can show a deeper problem.
Oh, so true.
But how do we even figure out our partner's love language?
Chapman has some great ideas for that.
Oh, good.
But first, what about you?
Yeah?
What makes you feel loved in a relationship?
Tough one.
Yeah.
I think it's a mix of quality time and words of affirmation.
Okay.
Spending time with my partner, having deep talks,
Yeah.
and hearing genuine appreciation.
I hear you.
That fills my love tank.
You just used a key term from Chapman.
Did I?
The love tank.
Oh, right.
He uses it to describe our need to feel loved. It's like a car's gas tank.
Okay.
We need to keep it full for our relationships to work.
I love that analogy.
It's a good one.
So if we're not speaking our partner's language,
Uh-huh.
we're running their love tank on empty.
Exactly.
I see.
And over time, that
Right.
leads to resentment, feeling unappreciated, disconnection.
All bad things.
Right. But we'll get into strategies next time.
Okay.
But first, I've got one more question.
Okay.
What happens when you are speaking your partner's language, but they're not doing the same for you?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is.
Yeah.
Chapman talks about Anne,
Okay.
who had a very critical husband.
Oh,
Nothing she did was ever good enough.
poor Anne.
Her love tank was always running low.
That sounds so draining.
It does.
So what does Chapman advise?
It might surprise you.
Okay.
He says Anne should focus on her husband's love language even more.
Even though she wasn't feeling love back.
Even then.
That's bold.
It is.
Is that like rewarding bad behavior?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Sometimes to soften someone's heart,
Yay.
you show them love in a way they get, even when it's hard.
So it's a strategy
Right.
to build connection.
Exactly.
And hopefully they'll start doing it too.
That's the hope.
This makes me think about love differently.
It's challenging, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's the great thing about really looking at a topic.
It is.
We get new perspectives and helpful insights for our own relationships.
We've covered so much already.
We have.
Falling in love versus choosing to love.
Yes.
The 5 love languages, even some tricky situations.
Yep.
But I'm really curious.
Yeah.
How do we figure out our partner's love language
Well,
if we're not sure?
that's for next time.
Ooh, cliffhanger.
Gotta keep you coming back.
All right, listeners, stay tuned because it's about to get even more interesting.
I can't wait. Okay, so ready to become love detective.
You know it. Let's crack the code of love languages.
All right, Chapman says we gotta start by observing.
Okay, makes sense.
Pay attention to how your partner shows you love.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do a lot? What do they always ask for? Or complain about?
Yeah.
Those are big clues.
I see, like if my partner is always leaving me notes or giving me compliments,
Yeah.
that probably means their love language is words of affirmation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they're always planning outings or making time for just us two,
Yeah,
quality time is probably super important to them.
this is clicking.
Good.
What about the other love languages?
Well, someone who loves receiving gifts,
Yeah.
it's not about being materialistic.
Ugh.
They love those thoughtful gestures,
I see.
like a small present, a handwritten letter,
Right.
even remembering their favorite snack. It's the thought behind it
Mm-hmm. The effort
that means the world to them.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about acts of service?
This was all about actions, right?
Yeah.
Does your partner love it when you help around the house,
Mm-hmm.
run errands,
Okay.
do things to make their life easier?
Right, yeah.
That's acts of service.
So it's not those big romantic things. It's the everyday stuff.
Exactly. Just showing you care.
And last but not least, physical touch.
This one's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Do they love cuddling, holding hands, hugs, being physically close?
Right.
Then physical touch is probably their top love language.
Okay, so now we've got all these tools to figure out their love language.
We do.
But what if we're still not sure?
Chapman's got another great tip.
Okay, what is it?
Just ask.
All right.
Have a talk with your partner about what makes them feel loved.
Sometimes the simplest way is best.
It often is.
Yeah, but how do we start that conversation?
Well, Chapman gives some good phrases to use.
Okay, like what?
You could say something like, hey, I was reading about these love languages,
Right.
and it made me think about how we show love.
Yeah.
What are some things I do that make you feel most loved?
I like that.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
It opens things up without blaming anyone.
Right, and it shows you really want to understand them. It's not a one-time talk, though, right?
No, it's not.
People change over time.
They do.
So we should keep checking in with our partner
Yes.
and be ready to adapt,
Absolutely, it's a dance.
learning each other's steps
I like that.
as we grow together.
Beautiful image.
But what if things are tough?
Okay.
Like you're trying to speak their language, but they're not doing the same for you.
That's frustrating for sure.
It is.
Chapman says that sometimes
Yeah.
one partner might be better at this whole love language thing.
Oh, I see. So what do we do? Just give up?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Chapman says to focus on giving love in a way that they get,
Okay.
even if you're not getting it back.
So even if it's one-sided,
Yeah,
it can still make a difference.
it can, but be realistic.
Right.
You can't magically fix someone
Right.
or change who they are.
Yeah, that's true.
But consistently showing love, even when it's tough,
Yeah.
can sometimes make them more open, more receptive to giving love back.
Okay. So it's not about manipulating them,
Yeah,
but about hoping love inspires them.
exactly.
But what if it's not just about love languages? What if it's bigger problems,
Okay,
like disrespect or even abuse?
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Chapman's clear that love languages aren't a cure-all,
Right.
especially not for toxic relationships.
Yeah.
If you're in danger, Get professional help.
Absolutely. This is for healthy relationships.
Yes.
Not for fixing broken ones.
But if your relationship is pretty healthy,
Yeah.
speaking your partner's love language can be really powerful.
I believe it.
And you know what?
Yeah.
This isn't just for romantic love.
Oh, really?
Chapman talks about parenting, too.
So our kids have love languages.
They do.
Wow, I never thought of that.
They have unique ways of feeling loved,
Interesting.
just like us.
But how do we know what theirs is?
Well,
Especially when they're little.
right.
They can't tell us.
True, but their actions speak volumes. Chapman says to watch how they interact with you.
Mm-hmm.
What do they ask for?
Yeah.
What makes them happy?
Yeah.
What do they complain about?
So it's like with our partners.
Exactly. Observation is key.
But can you give some examples?
Sure. Imagine your kid loves helping with chores.
Okay.
Even little things like setting the table.
Mm-hmm.
That can mean acts of service is their thing.
I see. It's their way of showing love.
And feeling valued.
What about the other languages?
Well, a kid who's always hugging,
Yeah.
cuddling, wanting to be close.
Right.
Physical touch is probably big for them.
They just want that closeness.
Yeah.
What about kids who give lots of little gifts?
Oh, yeah.
Drawings, things they found.
That could be receiving gifts.
Interesting.
They feel loved when you accept their gift.
with joy.
Yes. And appreciation.
This is so cool.
It is.
A whole new way to see my kids.
What about kids who always want your attention?
Yeah.
Showing you things, wanting to play together.
That's my kid.
That's quality time.
They just want to connect.
Exactly.
Words of affirmation.
That's huge for kids.
Yeah.
Tell them you love them.
Mm-hmm.
Praise their efforts. Recognize their achievements. Encourage them.
It all makes them feel good.
It really does.
So it's more than just saying, I love you.
It is.
It's being specific.
Yes. Tell them what you appreciate.
Okay, so each kid is unique.
They are.
And their love language might change
Absolutely.
when they grow up.
So we're back to being detectives.
We are.
Always watching, always
To
adaptive.
meet their needs.
That's what it's all about.
But what happens if we mess up?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, what if we haven't been speaking their language right?
It happens.
Or even worse, we've made them feel unloved.
That's tough.
Can we fix that?
You can always start speaking their language,
Okay.
even if you haven't been before.
Even if we messed up.
Yes. Chapman says be honest with your kids.
Okay.
Tell them you made mistakes
Mm-hmm.
and that you want to do better.
So we own up to it
Yes.
and show them we're learning
Exactly. And those honest talks can be really healing.
for both of you.
Exactly. You rebuild trust,
Right.
make your bond stronger,
I see.
and create a more loving connection.
Chapman's giving us so much to think about.
He is.
A roadmap for love.
Hmm.
Not just romantic love,
No.
but all kinds of love.
Exactly.
He's saying love isn't just a feeling.
Right.
It's a skill, a language we can learn.
And by learning it,
Yeah.
we can make our relationships so much better.
This has been incredible.
It has.
We talked about the love languages, how to figure them out
For our partners and our kids.
in all those tough situations.
Yeah.
But does this stuff really work?
That's the big question, right? Well, based on Chapman's experience and
I
all the people he's helped, the answer is yes.
So it's not just a nice idea.
Nope,
It actually makes a difference.
it does.
Wow, that's amazing.
Chapman has seen it change lives. Couples fixing their marriages.
Wow.
Parents and kids connecting better.
Mm-hmm.
People feeling more loved and accepted.
That's so powerful.
It is.
It gives me hope
Me too.
that even when love is hard,
Yeah.
there are ways to make it better.
And you know what else?
What?
Chapman goes even deeper.
Okay.
He talks about dialects within each love language,
Dialects.
like regional accents
Wait, there are variations.
within each love language.
Tell me more.
Okay, so imagine this.
Right.
Even within the same language, people talk differently, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Someone from the South might say honey or darlin',
Wait.
while someone from New York is more straight to the point.
I get it. So even in the same love language, there are little differences.
Big differences in how it comes across.
Wow, okay.
Chapman uses words of affirmation as an example.
Okay.
Some people love hearing compliments
Yeah.
about how they look or what they've achieved.
Like, you look great, or I'm so proud of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for others,
Mm-hmm.
those might not mean as much.
Interesting.
They might need words that encourage them
I see.
or show appreciation for what they do.
Oh,
Like, I know you're working hard. I'm grateful for you.
that little difference.
Yeah.
It could make someone feel so much more understood.
Absolutely.
And this is true for all the love languages, right?
You bet. With quality time, some people want deep talks.
Right.
Real emotional connection.
Yeah.
Others want to do things together, have adventures.
So for one person,
yeah.
it's cuddling and talking.
Mm-hmm.
And for another,
yeah.
it's going hiking or trying new food.
Precisely. It's knowing those little things and then matching your efforts to your partner's style.
This is so much deeper than I thought.
It is.
It's not just knowing the languages, but becoming fluent.
Yes. In all those variations.
And that's where the magic happens.
That's where it's at. It's going beyond the basic and making it personal, unique to your relationship.
Okay, so we've got these love language dialects.
We do.
But how do we actually use them?
Observation, that's your key.
Okay, familiar theme.
It is. Watch their reactions, listen to what they say, notice their body language.
Right, so we're always learning, getting to know them better.
Yes. And don't be afraid to try things.
Okay.
Different approaches within their love language.
Yeah.
See what works best.
This is starting to feel fun.
It is fun.
Like a game.
It is.
But with really good rewards.
The best reward.
Exactly. So we're treasure hunters.
I love
Looking for those things that bring us closer.
And it's not a one-time search.
Right. It keeps going.
Things change. Preferences evolve.
We have to stay flexible.
Open communication. Adapting.
This is great.
It is.
It's like we have this secret tool to make relationships stronger.
Exactly. It's a language that lets us show love in a way that truly connects.
And as we get better at their language, they'll hopefully get better at ours.
That's often what happens.
It's this back and forth.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
But what about when it's not equal? When one person's putting in more effort?
That's hard.
It is. What does Chapman say about that?
He says, shift your focus.
Okay.
Don't think about what you're getting.
Okay, so don't keep score.
Exactly. Instead, think about the joy of giving love.
So find happiness in the giving.
Yes. Even if it's not always returned right away.
This is a big mindset shift.
It is, but it's powerful.
Yeah, but we're not saying to be a doormat.
No.
Or ignore our own needs.
Of course not.
But sometimes the best way to change things is to just start with love.
Leader with love.
It's not always about perfect balance.
Right.
It's about finding what works.
For both of you.
Even if it takes time.
Sometimes it does.
This whole love language thing, it really helps me understand relationships better.
That's what it's for.
Yeah, it explains so much.
It's like having a decoder ring.
Yes.
For the language of love.
And that understanding gives us hope.
Hope for stronger connections.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
I agree.
We've learned so much about the 5 love languages and all those little details that make them work.
Those dialects.
Exactly. And most importantly, how to use this knowledge.
And build better relationships.
So as we wrap up, one last thought.
Okay.
Think about this. What's one thing your partner could do today?
Yes.
That would make you feel most loved?
That's a beautiful question.
It reminds us that even with all this complexity, sometimes the smallest actions spoken in the right love language.
It's all about the language.
Can have the biggest impact.
So true.
So everyone listening,
go
out there and speak the language of love.
The world needs more of that.
Observe, listen, try new things.
Keep learning.
And never stop finding ways
to make the people you love
feel truly cherished.
That's it. That's the key.
We'll leave it there for today.
Until next time.
Keep those love tanks full.
Absolutely.